You're listening to The Power Project. I'm your host, Brandy Voth, and it's my goal each week to inspire and empower you to go out and live purpose-filled lives and own your God-given power. Now, this week, that looks like the form of a book study that we're doing over on Facebook. Did you know that you can hang out with us anytime over at the Power Squad on Facebook, where we discuss all the things? And Girl Stop Apologizing happens to be what we're currently discussing. Now, we're going to get right into that, but first, I want to read a review from Wholeheartedly Fit. She says, "Love this podcast. Brandy was gifted with a way of words and says exactly what my heart needs. I love that she's so encouraging, but not in an obnoxious way. More like your best friend or sister that's always there with a voice of reason. Keep on shining, sister." Thank you so much, and you keep shining too. Now, let's jump right in, shall we? We're going to give it just a moment for people to hop on. Hey, Instagram. Hey, Facebook. I am happy to be here with you today, and I'm happy that the internet, as far as I know, is supporting the live stream today. So the last Girl Stop Apologizing book study that we did the week before last, it didn't record accurately. It wouldn't stream live to Facebook, to the Power Project, Instagram. We got to chat, but Facebook, you missed it because of the internet connection. So it just didn't work out. So I do not have those 3 chapters of the book study on the Power Project page. However, it is on the podcast, the Power Project podcast, which publishes to this page, to the Facebook Power Project. So you guys can check that out. That was the 7, 8, and 9 of the excuses to let go of. So that was, it's been done before. What will they think? And good girls don't hustle. So if you did not catch that podcast from 2 weeks ago, check it out on the Power Project podcast. Do us a favor, write a review, and let us know what you thought about it. So I'm Brandy Voth, and I'm the founder of the Power Project. We are currently doing a book study on Girl Stop Apologizing. And so we're doing this book study. We are in the 4th week of the book study. It happens every other week. So we have gotten into part 2 of the behaviors to adopt. And the first one is kind of a hot topic. And I'm really curious to see, I want to hear what you guys think about it. I would love for you to send me some feedback on it. You can comment on this video. You can send me a DM. So the first one is stop asking permission. So I 100% believe that we need to consult our spouses about what we're doing in life, like talk to them, have an open dialogue. But I also get where she's coming from. Like, we don't need their permission to chase our dreams. We don't need their permission to pursue what we're doing in life, our goals. But we do need to have a healthy conversation around that. So I'm not going to regurgitate everything that was said in this chapter. You can go back and read about the opinion of that in that book. My opinion is that you should both be in a healthy enough relationship to where that you can discuss things and dream together, but you don't need your spouse or anyone else for that matter to validate your goals, your dreams, your drive, your hustle. So in this chapter, and this is where I'm really wanting to get to see what you guys think of. So Rachel talks about how she hates the term girl boss. And she talks about, and this is like a really, really trending hashtag right now. It's a major movement right now. So for her to put that out there, that she hates that phrase when probably, 90% of her followers are tagging that on Instagram and Facebook right now. I'm so curious to see what you all think about this phrase. I actually even put it in my Facebook group. If you're not in the Facebook group, you can join us at the Power Squad, where we discuss things like this and kind of chit chat. So I even shared the article because this was an article before it was a chapter in the book a couple of years ago. And she talks about how she really hates that title. So I'm just going to give you guys my personal opinion. You're welcome to have your own opinion, and I'm okay if you don't agree with me, just like I hope you're okay if I don't agree with you. This is just a place where we can discuss things. Y'all, I love the term girl boss. I love the term mompreneur. I love fempreneur. I love moms who work. I love women who hustle. I love women in business, women CEOs. Like, I love that title. And let me just give you my input on why I love that title. So, I personally, I've always, like, you guys know we've talked about this. I have always been a driven female, and I was lucky enough to have parents that spoke into me, that told me I could do whatever I set my mind to. So I don't mind being labeled a woman that did it, a girl that did it. And I'll tell you why. I wanted to be the first female president when I was a kid. That was my goal. That was my dream. And there's something to be said about being the first female president, right? Like, you broke that barrier. The first Supreme Court justice, right? Like, there's something to be said for being the first female to do something, like the first female in space. There's something big about that. There's something that I take great pride in knowing that we have done that. And I want that title. I want that label. I don't just want to be called a boss. I want to be the girl boss. And I'm sorry if you feel like this marginalizes you, or if it makes things more difficult for you, or if you feel like it's harder to break the glass ceiling in corporate America with that title. This is my own opinion. This is the gospel according to Brandy. And I personally think that there's something special to say, like, I'm a girl boss that did that, right? So I would love to hear your opinion on this, whether you agree with it, whether you think girl boss needs to not be used because it makes us have to like over qualify for things, or if you take pride in being a girl boss. That's my own personal opinion. I like the fact that women who are leading in business, ministry, nonprofits, women who are doing big things in life, I love the fact that they're doing that while raising kids and while managing households and while overcoming obstacles in life that men didn't have to do primarily. I'm not saying that men don't step up to the plate and help, but I love the fact that women are doing this and doing it in ways that men didn't have to do. So I want that title personally. And in my own opinion, like, this is probably going to be a hot button and it's probably going to set a few of you off, but I enjoy the fact that, like, we're not equal. Yes, we have every right, the same as men, but at the same time, we're not created in the same manner as them. We think differently. Our minds work differently. We are different creatures. It's that whole spaghetti and waffles thing. So, like, a woman's mind is all of these things mashed up together, kind of like a pile of spaghetti, whereas a man's mind can compartmentalize and say, okay, this is work, this is home, this is sports, this is my wife. Ours is all infused together in a bundle of noodles. So we don't operate in the same manner. We're more sensitive, we're more nurturing, we're more caring. So I'm okay if you call me a girl boss. That's just me. That's my own disagreement with this particular chapter. And I think I want to take it like a little step further, where I've been in different areas, and you guys, I'm Southern, right? So I want to be known. I still want to be known as a girl, as a woman, as a lady, regardless of what I'm doing in life and business. I don't want to be treated like one of the guys. I want the door open for me. I want the chair pulled out for me, right? I can do that and still run a business. I can do that and still lead in a purposeful manner. I can do that and still make an impact. And I've been in areas that don't have the same mindset, where women have really pushed to be on the equal level, right? And don't get me wrong, you guys know, I think that we should have fair pay. I think that we should have equal rights in business. I'm down with all of that. Like, I'm the most conservative feminist you're ever going to meet, basically. But as far as being seen as one of the guys, as far as taking that girl title out of girl boss, I've been in those areas. I had an instance where I got out of a car. I wasn't at home. I was traveling. I got out of a car. I was helping get kids out of a car. The wind caught my door and it dinged like a truck sitting next to me. It did no damage to that truck. The guy, younger than me, jumped out of his vehicle and verbally berated me, cursing me, calling me every name under the book. I've never been spoken to like that in my life. It not only scared me and made me angry, but it blew my mind that a young man would speak this way to a woman. Like, I could not believe that. And my girlfriend who was living there, who was from there, she said it's because of the equal playing field that women have pushed so hard for, that we're treated as equals at this point. Like, we're talked to like a man would be talked to. And I'm not saying it's okay to verbally assault a man. I'm just saying, like, be prepared for what you ask for, right? I want to be a boss. I want to run a business. I want to walk in purpose. I want to make an impact. I want people to know that I can do anything that a man does. But I want my title. I still want to be a girl boss. That's my own 2 cents on that. Maybe it goes back to the fact that I just always believed I could do whatever a man could do, but I didn't have to be treated like a man. I remember being about 8 or 9 years old, and every time like we got hurt or we cried, my dad would say, "You're tough, take it like a man." And that was just his phrase that he said. And I'm grateful for it now because I do think it made me tough. But I remember at about 8 or 9 years old saying, like, "But Dad, I'm not a man, I'm a little girl." So I personally believe there's a difference there, and it's okay. I think we can do all of the things and still give credit to the fact that we're doing it as females. I mean, I sold Ford trucks, and I did it in heels. And one of my favorite things to tell my customers was that I'm not running all over the parking lot back and forth to the sales office. I'm going to get you the best deal up front because I do it in heels. So I do think we can do all the things. I do think we can do it in heels. And I do think we can acknowledge that we did it as a female. So hope I haven't lost you. Hope you haven't like hung up just because I totally disagree with Rachel in the first chapter. And that's okay. I'm not mad at her. Still think it's a great book. That's my opinion. That's her opinion. It's both of our truths. So then the second behavior that we need to adopt is choose one dream and go all in. And I think this is so, so, so important, because if you are a high achiever and you're a purpose-driven person and you're looking to like make an impact and you want to do all the things, you want to help everybody, you want to build a business, you want to start a nonprofit, you want to do all of the things, right? I firmly, firmly agree that we can do all the things. I just don't think we can do all the things at once. I 100% agree that we have to choose one dream and go all in. So if you're like me, my mind is basically a pinball machine. I'm not even kidding you. It's like the little flippers on the side and the balls bouncing back and forth. And you know, like the multiple ball pinball machines where there's like 3 going at once. That's my mind. And so my morning, literally every morning, is like, I want to do this, I want to do this, I want to do this, I want to do this. And it's like 5 different areas of things I want to do. But my word of the year for this year, January 1st, was focus. Because when we're giving a little bit of our time to multiple areas, we're not doing anything really well. When we're spreading so thin, we're not giving all of our focus to that one area. So instead of doing 5 things at once and being spread thin and not doing any 5 of those really well, why don't we hone it down to the one thing we can do that one thing really well, move on to the next and the next and the next and the next. So I was a stay-at-home mom for 10 years, and I gave my all to that. Like, I gave my all to my babies. I gave my all to my home. I gave my all to my family, and I did it really, really well. And I created all those habits and laid all that groundwork to where that when I was able to step away and start pursuing other areas, I was able to. It's okay if you're not a stay-at-home mom. This is not an attack. I'm just saying I laid the groundwork to where that everything was so ingrained and set up like a routine that I could start focusing on other things. And when I started my business, I knew that I was going all in and I was going to do it really well. And I told my husband and my family, I'm putting my head down for 2 years. I'm going to work on this. I'm growing this thing. I'm going to create residual income, and I'm going to need you to step up to the plate. I'm going to need you to be Mr. Mom. Kids, I'm going to need you to help out around the house and do chores. This is what I'm focusing on right now. And that's what I did. And I built this business to where that I could then step away from that and move into the nonprofit sector and give my all to the nonprofit sector for a while and help raise awareness. Okay. So then that shifted into, then I was able to start a podcast, and I gave my all to that podcast, getting it up and going and running.
Are you thinking right now that you've heard enough, you have what it takes, and you're ready to start a side hustle? Well, girl, I think now is as good of time as ever that you jump over to the-powerproject.com/powerful business. Read my story there about how I got started in this business, and then fill out that email form, and I would be happy to schedule a call with you and discuss more in depth what it is that I do. That's the-powerproject.com/powerful business.
I had this word of advice from Christy Wright with the Business Boutique a year before I launched the podcast, a year before I started the Power Project, like back when I was just knowing that there was somewhere else I was supposed to branch into from the business side of it. And she told me, choose your one thing. So if you're a speaker, if you're wanting to have a speaking career, focus on your one thing. What is your one subject? What is your one topic? What is your one umbrella that everything can fall under? What is the one topic that whatever you speak about relates to that? What is your one topic that whatever you post about relates to that? What is your one topic that applies to everything in your life? And so mine was power, the acronym of power, the purpose, ownership, wisdom, empowerment, and reach. Purposeful business, ownership in business, wisdom in business, empowered business, reaching others in business. Okay, that goes into nonprofits. It goes into ministry. It goes into leadership. Like that was my one thing. That was my one. So if you're sitting at home right now and you're thinking, I'm trying to figure out my one thing to focus on, my one subject, not even just one goal, but my one subject, start thinking like, what are the things that you value in life? What are the things that you talk about? What are the things that fire you up, that put a fire in your belly and light up your soul? And break that down into one thing and apply that to every single aspect that you do. So that's when I started. That's when I was like, okay, so then how do I branch forward with this? We have to figure out what your audience is into. Okay. So if you're a multifaceted entrepreneur and you're looking to do all of the things like we all are, you're thinking, okay, I got to start a blog. I got to start a podcast. I got to start a website. I got to do retreats. I got to do speaking engagements, right? Well, do one thing at once. Master that one thing and then move on to the next. So I first started out with, okay, I'm going to do a retreat. So I did a retreat and I polled my audience. What do they want? What did they like about it? What do they want to hear more of? Then I started the Power Project page, the vlog, and I used that as a sounding board of what type of guest I wanted to speak to and what type of subjects I wanted to bring up, all under this power umbrella. And then from there, I moved into the podcast. And then from there, I take speaking engagements, whoever wants me to speak at this point. But do the one thing. You don't have to do it all. You don't have to do it all at once. Do one thing, do it really well, lay the groundwork and the foundation before you move on to the next. So for instance, you guys, it is so heavy on my heart to start a social enterprise. I know the name of it. I know the industry. I know the products. Like I know everything I want to do with this social enterprise. But I also know that this is not the time right now. I know that the time right now is a different goal that I'm focused on. And I am all in on that one goal right now. And when I finish that goal, I'll move on to the next. So one thing at a time, like if I'm trying to all in one day, write a book and do a podcast and do a social enterprise and run a business, it's going to exhaust me and I'm not going to finish any of them really well. So the other thing I want to mention to you, because once you do get one thing under your belt and you add to others, you do have multiple things going on at once. So the best thing you can do in a week's time period, this is all part of like that time management, figure out day by day, what is the one thing you're going to accomplish each day? What is the one thing I can do today to get me further along to this goal? Okay, so for instance, I have Wednesdays and Thursdays are my work from home days and my podcast days. All right, so those days I don't get sidetracked with the other business ventures and things that I have going on. I do those on separate days. So think about, do one thing on Monday and accomplish it, one thing on Tuesday and accomplish it, and have one day for each goal that you're working on so that you're not just multitasking, because multitasking doesn't bring about true achievement. Like, I hate to tell you guys that. It just doesn't. So one thing, one goal, one subject, one brand, and go hard until you accomplish that one thing. And then you can move on to the next. Okay, so the next behavior to adopt is the embrace your ambition. And this is once again a super hot button. You've probably been raised that ambition is a bad thing, right? Like you've heard Philippians 2:3, let nothing be done through selfish ambition or conceit, but in lowliness of mind, let each esteem others better than himself, right? So ambition sounds super negative to a lot of people. A lot of people were raised that if you say, oh, she's ambitious, oh, she needs to quit worrying about her own ambition, that's probably a bad word. It leaves a bad taste in your mouth. But I want to give you another scripture about ambition in the Bible, and it's 1 Thessalonians 1:11, I believe. No, it's 4:11. I'm sorry. And to make it your ambition to lead a quality life. You should mind your own business and work with your hands just as we told you. 12, so that your daily life may win the respect of outsiders and so that you may not be dependent on anybody. So the ambition here is put your head down, work hard, mind your own business, and don't depend on others. Right? Like that. So in that sense, that's not a bad use of ambition. So ambition as a whole is not a bad word. Ambition as a whole is not a bad thing. It's just like the scriptures where we hear, that money is the root of all evil. No, the love of money is the root of all evil. So it's just like, is it your own personal ambition that you're seeking your own glory? Or is it your ambition where you're bringing glory to God? Is it your own drive? So the actual definition of ambition is a strong desire to do or to achieve something, typically requiring determination and hard work. The Greek meaning is to esteem as an honor. So what are you esteeming as an honor? What are you working for? Right? Are you using your ambition to bring glory to God? Are you using your ambition to give him the credit? Are you taking all your own credit? Are you saying, I did this, I built this, right? Are you saying, like, with the power that is within me, we're bringing glory to God? I'm hustling, I'm being ambitious. Are you saying yes to his call, or are you leaning on your own understanding? So when I first really started feeling in my heart that I was supposed to pursue the fight against human trafficking and take up that call, I really wrestled and struggled with, was this something from God or was this something of my own? And the main reason I really struggled with it is because I had no background, I had no history, I had no real attachment or a way to empathize, and I didn't know why I was being called for this. I didn't know if I was doing this for my own, like, glory satisfaction, to have people say, oh, look at her, she's doing such a great thing. Oh, look at her, how awesome is she? How great is she that she's helping others, right? And I struggled with this, and I didn't want other people thinking that, and I didn't know how to distinguish if this was something I wanted to do or something I was being called to do. So I was counseling and talking with a good friend of mine who's also my pastor's wife, and I was telling her all these things, and I thought, I'm terrified of this cause. Like, it's not something I would ever pick. Like, it's so much grainier and seedier and darker than any cause I would have ever chosen. I don't know why I'm wanting to do this, and I don't know if it's my own ambition that's pushing me to do this and driving me to do this. I don't know if I'm doing it for myself or to bring glory to Him. And she said, one of the best things that has stuck with me, resonated with me, that I have applied to every aspect of my life since then. She's like, well, one of the best ways to know that it's from God is that it scares you, that it scares the crap out of you, right? And I use that to judge the caliber of what I'm doing, the level of how much trepidation do I have about it. Don't get me wrong, do not misquote me, you guys. Do not get this twisted. Stepping into a den of rattlesnakes is not from God just because it terrifies you or scares you, right? Use common sense in this. But if you have a true calling in life that scares you, something that you're needing to step outside of your comfort zone and do, and you don't have to, you have to really think about it, pray about it, it's probably a calling that's greater than yours. I've found that if I have something that I don't really have to think about, I don't have to pray about it, I'm not scared, I'm not nervous, that it very well may be something that is my own ambitious desire and not my ambition in my calling. So I use that, and you can use that. Does it scare me? Is it something I'm comfortable with? Is it something I would normally do? And if it's not, it's typically a bigger thing. Yeah. So that's ambition as a whole. I don't believe is bad. This is my own personal opinion, and you can look at it the way you look at it. But I think that drive that was placed in your heart was placed there by your Creator. And I think that if you tap into that and you stay in constant relationship and constant conversation with Him, you can use that to bring glory to Him. It can be a beautiful thing. It can be a great thing. And I think that we can create a movement of people that want to leave an impact. I think that we can create a movement of people with ambition, with drive that was put in their heart on purpose, that are doing big things on a massive scale. And we don't have to apologize about it. And we can embrace the ambition that's driving us to do that. So I hope you guys enjoyed these chapters. I hope you guys enjoyed this study. Once again, if you missed the last 3 chapters, you can go listen to that on the Power Project podcast. We would love if you guys went and wrote a review wherever you listen to your podcast at, whether it's on Apple, iTunes, Spotify, SoundCloud, Spreaker, YouTube, all of the places that you listen to podcasts. I can't wait to talk to you guys next week. I hope that you enjoy the upcoming chapters, and have a great week. Do something awesome.
I hope you guys are enjoying this book study as much as I am. I love being able to bring to you my take on it and how I apply it to my everyday life. And I would love to hear how you are applying it to yours. I would love your opinion on this episode today, what your takeaways were. So do us a favor, go write a review. Make sure you're subscribed to our podcast so that you never miss another episode, and then share it with all of your friends on social media. Because listen, we believe that the world needs to hear what is happening on this podcast. Also, have you joined our Facebook group yet? Go over there and join Power Squad so that we can have all the discussions about all the things. As always, I can't wait to chat with you guys next week. But until then, go out and live your best purpose-filled lives.